February the 23rd, I believe, and 2025. Let me turn the camera around. It's kind of, this is the quality of the phone when you purchase an iPhone. And what can I say? They're always messing with the settings, but it really doesn't matter. Let me see if I can clear it up a little bit. That was a little bit better. So, here I am and living in Las Vegas, and the NAACP, that 1111 NAACP, with all those wonderful people who don't reach out to really have real conversations, had a community meeting, and they were encouraging parents to have their children have conversations with the people that they're having problems with. And I'm saying, you position your child to be in a very difficult situation because they don't appreciate us talking to them, less known having our children redirect or attempt to advocate for themselves in whatever regard. It is still a child, and the child needs to stay in a child's place. My whole entire life, I was advocating for my children or my sons to reach out to me so that I could do all of the advocacy, and I was able to do that. I mean, I was able to support my sons. Let's see, we can share the live, share the live, share the live. Oh, I want to share the live again. Let's share the live. Where can we share it? On X. X. Issues here. This is concerning. I mean, we have lawyers, African-American lawyers here in Nevada, but they've not all come together and addressed the issue of the failed services of the African-American community. We certainly have enough. You understand what I'm saying? We have enough people who have enough skills on the ground to determine if, as a nation or as a people living in any specific area, have we been given the same access to mandatory services? And as we already know, disproportionality is a problem in our communities, and they're not dealing with that either. Hell, what are they dealing with? Absolutely nothing. And failure is the option that so many people have chosen to accept. And I'm saying my children did not fail public education. They just did not. And they learned, A, B, C, easy as 1, 2, 3. Hey, it wasn't easy, but it was difficult. But my children all graduated above 8th grade level. I'll put it like that. Even the one they said was severely MR and would not benefit from public education. He didn't need any more English. When we took him over there to City College and had him assessed, he had already completed English. He didn't need any English in the second JC level. And so we were going to move on. I mean, but the whole thing is that, he's home and he's safe, but he would be just like Elijah McClain if he was out there roaming the streets. And there are just so many of our young people, even older people, that are in the spectrum, because the spectrum in autism has been around forever, and all children just learn differently. But you have to understand that under the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment of the Constitution may seem so far removed, but actually it is mandatory. And as they can use the DA, which is the district attorney, against you and your family and remove your children from your homes. And I'm saying they're not providing any support to help provide housing for these young women who are getting pregnant, or any counseling for any drugs that they may have taken or during their pregnancy. No, they immediately get to go in and remove those children. They don't get a second chance. How is it that they have a 38% population of Negro children in the foster care system here in Nevada? And I'm saying that's ultimately just disgusting to me. I sacrificed and raised my sons, all 3 of my sons, as a single parent. I was blessed to have my mother, and it was a wonderful experience taking care of her because in her end of days. But know that every time she went to one of these homes for aftercare hospital release, she ended up with bed sores that I had to nurse back. And every time within 3 days, she had bed sores. But right before she died, the home that she was living in, well, they lost her teeth. And talking about when I came in that she was packing food, I said, well, where are her teeth? And, hello, John. And they said, well, she has false teeth. And I'm saying, bullshit. I mean, my siblings fought me on keeping her in the nursing home, and I fought to keep her out. So by the last year of her life, I spent in the living room on the floor because she just didn't ever want to be alone. And we're never alone, truly, we are not. We're only alone if we believe we are. And here comes the helicopter. It's a nightly flyover. They fly from one side of Vegas to the other side of Vegas on a regular, at least 2 or 3 times a night, right overhead. And sometimes they're really, really big, the Air Force ones, and then sometimes they're just little ones. No, but, see, hello. And I'm saying, life is just, it never turned out the way you thought it would. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. And, I'm just trying to understand why so many people who look like me have accepted failure for their children, because when they get out of school, they're not employable. I mean, they're just not employable. Well, what has the city done in order to create a pathway for employment? Oh, so now you have the AmeriCorps program, and you're going to place these children in tutoring positions. You're going to train them to work in the schools, and I think that's awesome. But it's the city pushing that. It's not Clark County School District. But, when they get the grant money, they just have an obligation to the data. And so it's considered maintenance of effort, and all states must demonstrate how they use that money. And they have to demonstrate how they used it on the children who generated that money. And those funds are considered Title I. And they have neglected and delinquent money. And they just have so many monies. But all that money is from the federal government. And the federal government just provides dollars and allocations, even for children with disabilities. So you just have to understand the level of support that I had with my son, who they said was severely MR, and not expected to graduate from public education, just graduated with a one-on-one aid, a laptop, and above proficient. He is going to be 27. And he is here with me, and I got him in a cybersecurity class. He has to learn how to discipline himself and go through the course on his own, but he's doing it from home. How many of us can do that shit? I'm trying to tell you something. But, hey, this is just a tool. And when you look at it as nothing and no more than a tool, understand that we are so very powerful. We decide. Like they said that Joy Reid, they got rid of Joy Reid. And I'm saying, oh no, well, Joy just needs to do exactly what that homeboy did too. The one that they got rid of, the black guy who's now on TikTok, and he has his own show on X. And I mean, come on now. If people found you interesting, they would continue to follow you, because I don't follow anybody that I find uninteresting, and that's just real. And people who don't know how to tell the truth, well, Perry Mason. I watched a lot of Perry Mason growing up. And, and Gilligan's Island and all of that irrelevant shit just wasted my goddamn time. Because you have to have something to do. Search for Tomorrow, Young and the Restless. Come on, The Guiding Light. We all know about all that shit. What we don't know about is how many children were assessed in your local communities to enter into an early start program, because the Biden-Harris administration, that would be that Democratic Party, right, said that all 3-year-olds would be enrolled in an early start program, an educational program in all of these states. And I'm saying, well, what did your state do? Oh, your state doesn't have any of the data? Well, how in the hell did that happen? Well, why are we paying all of these people for services that are not rendered? And I'm saying enough is enough. So I don't have to wait for anybody to open the door, because you see, I have been there. And, I worked with Graciela Abelar. I mean, and there were so many directors of state and federal programs while I was in attendance. My children were in attendance in Sacramento City Unified School District. But it concerns me that people are appointed to committees here. They're just appointed. And they are not being trained. Well, who would train them? Well, did you not know that the federal government offers training to states? And they just do. But I don't understand what that West Ed is doing right now, trying to help these people get out of the mess that they're in, because they're in just a mess. Because they changed the definition of at risk, but they try to make it at risk for the children out there in the rural areas. The rural areas. People out there when you're driving from here to Vegas, from Vegas to LA, you might see one or two houses out there in those areas. And their children are entitled to what is free and appropriate, too. Now, how the state decided that they would bring those services to those people, well, that was up to the state. And how they decided that they would focus on the allocation of the dollars and not focus on the measurement of the maintenance of effort. I am confused. I thought that shit was hilarious. I'm listening to them go through how they fund the pupil-centered funding formula plan, how it all goes. And I'm saying, yeah, the one thing that you're not measuring is any of the outcomes, because the one thing that Title I requires, or all the federal dollars actually require, is that you measure what is considered the maintenance of effort. But when there is disproportionality going on, well, I just have to say we have a right to understand why it happened and perhaps address those issues. But it doesn't really matter when your people don't all come together and get under one roof and talk about what's not going on. And so I figured that, we have all of these famous black people living in Las Vegas, born in the USA. We were just born here. And the real deal is when you're born here in America, you have an obligation. I have a podcast over there on Podbeam. That's right, Podbeam. It's called Citizen Anderson. And somebody says, well, why would you call yourself Citizen Anderson? Because quite frankly, that's all I am, an American citizen. And I've lived in Europe, I've lived in Japan, I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Michigan, New Jersey, California, and where else? Now I'm in Nevada. And I think, Nevada is the one place that I can say, Wild, Wild West. Boom, boom, boom. It's a wild, wild west, because they just do whatever they're going to do here, and they have the millennial scholarships, which causes some stress. But when you're just going to put 750 new homes like that, 750 new homes in Henderson with no new schools and no new grocery stores and no new facilities, and the same little tiny theaters and so few businesses, but the businesses can't really, do additional advertisement because they've got all these rules and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Just as it is crazy that you have to have identification, but once you've been incarcerated and they let you out, they give you a temporary ID. And then it expires, but then as soon as it expires, they're looking for you. And I'm saying, this is some insane stuff. And it really is, because failure is only an option for people who choose not to show up. And so in 2025, I thought you knew that we're alive and that we're not going back. In America, the real deal is, who are you in 2025? And if you know who, oh, look, we have company. Look, they're probably listening, because I know that they can listen too. They're friends, and they're different, and they are whatever they are. And this is America. And things are going to change in 2025. So let's just all watch. Will we get that $5,000 from our new president? What will we get? Or will they take our resources from us? We'll see in 2025. It'll be you or it'll be me. Look, he's going away. Y'all, have a blessed day. I'm out of here.